My name is Mandy Jane Stanley, and I'm the owner of Pathways Learning Solutions, a consulting company that focuses on building a world that is intentional about meeting the needs of all. I'm a firm believer that by helping the few, you benefit the whole, specifically in the classroom, but especially in the world around us. Whether you're a teacher, parent, student teacher, or administrator, or a part of a business or an organization, or just someone who loves to be a lifelong learner, welcome to my classroom. Today, we're going to learn about universal design. After viewing this video, you'll be more informed on the definition of universal design for learning, UDL guidelines, how UDL impacts the brain and learning, UDL resources for reading and writing disabilities, UDL resources for executive function, and ways to advocate for UDL in schools. So, let's get into it. Teachers, there's no greater feeling than teaching a lesson and seeing the looks of pride on your students' faces when they master a new skill. But as Shelley Moore of the University of British Columbia suggests, teaching can feel like bowling. We do our best to knock down all of the pins, but knocking down the ones in the margins, which can be our high and lower achieving students, can be the hardest. We never want to leave our students in the margins behind. Universal design for learning can help us avoid this. Our goal is to be intentional about providing successful, personalized, and individualized learning opportunities for all students. So, you may be wondering, what is universal design for learning? Well, CAST, the Center for Applied Special Technology, defines universal design for learning, or UDL, as a framework to improve and optimize teaching and learning for all people based on scientific insights into how humans learn. The goal is to increase accessibility for those who need it most, while also benefiting their peers by providing choices. There are several ways that teachers can use this framework to completely change their classrooms and the learning experiences for their students. If you're wondering where to begin, I suggest reviewing the CAST guidelines. The goal is to provide multiple means of engagement, representation, and action and expression for students to increase accessibility for all learners. The first guideline focuses on student engagement. The affective networks of the brain help us process the why of learning. The best way to engage students is to provide options to recruit interest, sustain effort and persistence, and self-regulation. By doing so, you will increase autonomy and ownership in your classroom. Some great resources and strategies for the CAST guidelines include creating a structured, safe learning environment, project-based learning, choice boards, learning journals and logs, student-led conferences, turn and talk, tracking goals and progress, and making cultural connections with your students. The next CAST guideline is to provide multiple means of representation. The recognition networks of the brain help us process the what of learning. The best thing to do would be to provide options for perception, language and symbols, and comprehension. There are many great reading and writing resources to increase accessibility for students. There are video tutorials such as Math Antics and Math with Dr. J, captions and transcripts for videos. You can adjust contrast and audio speed. You can use e-text through Bookshare or Reading IQ. You can also increase accessibility on technology with tools and add-ons such as Read and Write for Google, Immersive Reader for Microsoft, provide alternate text, and use speech-to-text and text-to-speech tools. You can also utilize graphic organizers and semantic mapping to represent connections. Digital learning tools like ThinkPort, Khan Academy, iExcel, and virtual field trips can also increase engagement while also providing other multiple means of representation. And you can also use online and video games. The third CAST guideline is to provide multiple means of action and expression for students. The strategic networks of the brain process the how of learning. You can activate this area of the brain by providing options for physical action, expression and communication, and executive function. Here are some ways to improve executive function in your classrooms. You can use online sensory timers, note-taking apps like Evernote, course management software like Schoology or Google Classroom, provide checklist and project planning templates, model and provide guides for breaking down long-term goals, provide graphic organizers to assist with planning, organization, and task completion, and just simply checking in with your students frequently to check their understanding and task completion. Now that you have learned about the 3 guidelines for UDL, let's discuss ways you can advocate for universal design in your school. You can share and visit the CAST website, encourage teachers to provide options for representing understanding, find sponsors to provide more one-to-one technology for students, share free accessibility tools, model accessibility and discuss how being intentional about helping the few can actually benefit the whole, and most importantly, speak up. Find ways to make the school and the learning experience more accessible for all students. They deserve it. If you want to learn more about Universal Design for Learning, visit www.cast.org. This website holds a wealth of knowledge on this topic, as well as ready-to-use tips and strategies. There's so much to learn about this topic, and the more informed and equipped we are as educators on ways to benefit all of our students, the better a future of education will be. Remember, by helping the few, you benefit the whole. Special thanks to Ann Heitman, CAST, and the Alabama State Department of Education. Feel free to contact me with any questions. Now, go forth and make learning more accessible for all.